Hi there, Nilo. So you've written more essays. Good. I'm happy to see that. Let's take a look at this set today. The first one is the letter regarding the bad restaurant experience. Let's see what you said. Dear Sir Madam, I am contacting you because I went through an unforgettable, unpleasant, and the worst experience of my life in your Chinese restaurant. A few days ago, I went with my gorgeous wife to celebrate our anniversary in your eating place where the meal was scrumptious, yet the overall experience was detrimental to my mental health. The central reason behind my unpleasant experience in your restaurant is threefold. Firstly, the plates were really old and I found fungus in my wife's plate. Secondly, we had to wait more than an hour for a couple of simple fried rice. Thirdly, I perceived bad manners from the waitress whose name was Sarah when I complained about my drink being the wrong one. She brought me root beer instead of the French wine I ordered. Although the food was tasty, my anniversary celebration was ruined because of your restaurant. I therefore suggest that I be given a full refund. In addition, I regret to inform you that you will have to hire new employees, otherwise you will lose more clients. Whether you remediate this situation or not is your choice, but remember I work for one of the most important newspapers in the UK, The Guardian, and if I wrote a bad review, your restaurant would be ruined in no time. Regards, Nilo. Okay. Um, Here's the good news. You've covered the points. So in terms of task achievement, it's fine, it's appropriate, no problems. Um, where you come into, oh, also the grammar is pretty flawless. I mean, I didn't see much in terms of errors. There were some errors in your punctuation, which I'll go over again. Um, so grammar is very good. Task achievement is very good. Um, There are a couple of things in terms of Lexis that I would like to correct. Um, let's go through it again. Okay, this was a little strange to me. It's unforgettable, okay, and then unpleasant, okay. It just felt a little redundant, all right? So it's either the worst experience of your life or it's unpleasant. It just felt too much, okay? Um, in your eating place. Also a little strange, just not terribly natural. So just call it a restaurant. I mean, it's not bad. It doesn't show a lack of vocabulary if you refer to it as a restaurant. Otherwise, you could have referred to it as an establishment, which is also appropriate. But eating place didn't really feel very good to me. Um, I thought some of the wording you used was a little over the top. And maybe not 100% appropriate. Like detrimental to my mental health is a lovely expression, but I don't know that it is really fitting here. Also, remember, this is a formal letter. You're trying to get your money back. So it also seems a little unnecessary to refer to your wife as gorgeous. I mean, it doesn't help your claim at all or your request to get a refund. It just felt a little too much. Okay? Um, let's see. This was wrong here. We had to wait more than an hour for a couple of plates, I think is what you want to say, or for a couple of dishes of simple fried rice. Um, this punctuation was wrong, okay? You needed probably a semicolon here, but certainly not a comma. There was someplace else where there were commas that were unnecessary. Let me see. Okay. The other thing I wasn't really crazy about is this. I regret to inform you. We say this when you're announcing something, when you're letting somebody know about something um, that either has happened or that is going to happen. What you're really doing him is you're just warning him about something. So the I regret to inform you isn't totally appropriate here. Um, Something else would have been better. Like in addition, I suggest that you hire new employees, okay? Or I strongly recommend that you hire new employees, otherwise you will lose more clients, okay? Which is also really nice because if you use that kind of language, it's subjunctive, okay? Which is a grammatical phenomenon, which if you use it appropriately is actually really nice as well. So take a look, if you're not familiar with it, do look into it and see how you can incorporate it in something like this. Let's see. Okay, two more things. Remember that you're supposed to be firm and you're supposed to be polite. This to me was bordering on not being terribly polite. It sounds almost like you're essentially threatening the person. You're saying that, look, either refund my dinner, or I'm going to ruin your reputation in the newspaper, which I would have to say definitely borders on not being so polite. Okay, so yes, firm, but this is kind of going a little too far. Then here, this is inappropriate, and this is probably a more important point than the last one I mentioned. But here you started your letter, Nilo, dear sir, madam. Okay, and every time we write a formal letter, we don't know the name of the person we're writing to. We have to close our letter, yours faithfully. So that's how you have to end this. That's a fairly big deal because that would affect your coherence and cohesion score. Okay, and probably your task achievement as well, because you have to show that you use the correct format for a letter and so forth. Okay, but you know, the language was really good, which is why I am really kind of pointing out these kind of finer details, because you do have some really nice elements of your writing. So let's kind of pull it all together so we can get you the score you need. Now let's take a look at your task 2. Okay, so your task 2 is about the internet and working, communicating, and shopping through it. Let's see. Experts throughout the developed and developing world have debated whether the internet and its effects on people are positive or it has been a terrible technology for humanity. Some people believe the internet is a disastrous advancement in human history. However, I strongly disagree. The assessor will analyze both sides using an example from the Canadian government to demonstrate points and support arguments. Okay. On the one hand, here, although there is a case for white-collar workers, married couples, and even youngsters favoring the internet, the detrimental impact of using it and living without any physical contact with others cannot be overstated. You don't need a comma here, okay? This is largely because more and more people are suffering from depression caused by the pressure of influencers' popularity. Popularities. Uh, Maybe just one popularity. Okay. For instance, if young adults spent less time on the internet, the majority would feel a mental relief because they will not have to endure the secondary effect of following influencers. Consistent with this line of thinking is that most British stores had to lower the price of their products because citizens were preferring Amazon instead of buying locally. Thus, it is possible to state that, beyond doubt, that the internet is becoming a negative development for people that spent too much time online and for businesses that sell expensive products. Okay, grammar, vocabulary, lovely, lovely, lovely. This was incorrect here. This should be who. And honestly, the biggest problem for me here is this. I don't understand how these two things are related. You say consistent with this line of thinking. So I don't see how those two things are related. So, I mean, maybe more appropriate would have been another issue that arises through overuse of the internet is, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But maybe it's just the linker itself that doesn't work. And if you had kind of presented it a little differently, it would make sense. Okay, moving on. On the other hand, there is ample evidence of the internet benefiting adults that buy, chat, and work. Adults, uh, who? All right, let me think about it. You may need a who here, but I have to think about it for a second. The that would work if this section of the sentence is absolutely necessary for us to understand which adults you're talking about. Let's leave it, but keep in mind that you should probably prefer who whenever you're talking about people, just to be safe. Okay, the central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, the internet has become a quick source of information for students, and they prefer it because in that way, they do not have to waste their time asking a librarian about certain topics. Secondly, shoppers can order a wide range of items online and save money buying sales products that are available online only. For example, recent empirical research from the Canadian government demonstrated that 60% of their citizens prefer shopping online because it helps save them up to 18% of their money. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that the internet has been a profound development for humans. Let's say, did you talk about work at all? let's see. You didn't really talk about work, did you? Not really. Um, Okay. From the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the internet is a positive advancement. It is predicted that it will increasingly grow in importance over the next years. Okay. Nilo, it's lovely. I mean, I've already pointed out to you the areas that were a little troublesome. I really like your vocabulary. I really like your grammar, so I'm sure you're going to do well in those two areas, certainly. Let's see. I told you where the problem was in this first body paragraph. Um, like I said, it could be, and the fact is that it's the kind of problem that could actually influence your score both for task response and for coherence and cohesion, because using a cohesive device that doesn't work or that doesn't fit will it'll affect your obviously your coherence and cohesion score, but it will also affect the task response because it doesn't seem like you've developed your arguments well. Okay, so keep that in mind. Go ahead and correct these essays, send them back to us, add to your error correction list, and write your next essays. We're here. We're waiting to see what you write. So good luck with it.